The objective of this lecture is to know the risks associated with driving and to learn the ways to deal with them safely. The key modules of this lecture are: road safety is your responsibility, safely moving off and stopping, approaching intersections and junctions, turnings, lane discipline, changing lanes and overtaking safely, roundabouts, different modes of parking, heavy and articulated vehicles. We will start with the first module, road safety is your responsibility. Driving involves risks which can lead to a crash, personal injury, or even fatality. Major accidents are usually caused by careless or inconsiderable driving. Motorists who fail to realize the driving conditions find themselves unable to manage potential risk appropriately. The undesired consequences can sometimes be disastrous. Motorists must adopt their driving style according to the environment and make sure that they're driving according to the situation. To manage the risk while driving, motorists should observe well in advance, anticipate the situation, and plan accordingly. To reduce the risk while driving, motorists should always drive with utmost care at a speed that suits the condition of the road, traffic, and weather. Maintain the safe space around the vehicle. Stay behind instead of overtaking if planning to turn from the junction ahead. Reduce the speed to gain better control of the vehicle before turning for smooth and safe maneuvering. To increase safety and to eliminate risks, motorists are advised to plan their journey well in advance and avoid actions that may lead to danger, such as overspeeding, driving under the influence of alcohol or sedative medicine, using cell phone or similar devices, driving when tired or angry, driving without wearing seatbelts, driving a poorly maintained vehicle. Overspeeding is one of the main reasons of fatal road accidents. Important rule: you must not exceed the maximum speed shown on a sign, taking into consideration the road, weather, and vehicle conditions and related safety requirements. Article 10.10 UAE Federal Traffic Law number 21,1995. Remember, speed thrills but kills. In 2015, 79 accidents due to overspeeding resulted in 19 deaths in Dubai. Overspeeding can really mean the difference between life and death. The faster you drive, the more likely you are to crash. Speed also increases the magnitude of a crash. For example, a motorist traveling at 65 km per hour in a 60 km per hour zone is twice as likely to meet with a serious crash than a driver traveling at the speed limit. When driving at 70 km per hour in a 60 km per hour zone, the motorist is more than 4 times as likely to crash. It is always a good practice to drive carefully and never exceed the speed limit of the road. When you exceed the speed limit, even by a mere 5 km per hour, you'll need a considerably longer distance to stop. This is crucial during an emergency. Speed limits are set by the legislative authorities after a study of road and its surroundings. Speed limit signs are clearly posted along the roads where road users can easily notice it. Generally, speed limits on the roads are defined as follows: parking areas or service roads, 25 km per hour. Urban single carriageway, 40 km per hour. Urban dual carriageway, 60 km per hour or 80 km per hour, whichever is indicated. Rural roads, 100 km per hour. Freeways, 120 km per hour for light vehicles, 80 km per hour for heavy vehicles, and 60 km per hour to be observed as the minimum speed for all vehicles. Motorists should always be attentive of speed limit signs as they keep varying. Motorists should always travel at a speed that will allow them enough time to slow down or stop easily and safely in case of an emergency. Remember, good drivers aim to reduce risks, stay safe, and keep others safe. In this module, you will learn how to move off and stop safely. Let's first learn what is moving off. In driving terms, moving off means moving a slow or stationary vehicle and accelerating it gradually to match the traffic stream currently on road. This maneuver, which is also known as driving off, should be done steadily and safely so as not to create a hazard for other road users. Unnecessary slow moving off can cause others to alter their speed or course, creating a hazardous situation for other road users. Motorists should use the POM routine to move off safely. This routine can be followed when moving off from any stationary position, either from traffic, intersection, or parking. The POM routine means prepare, observe, move. We will now look into what the motorist should do in each step of the POM routine. The first step is prepare. This means keep your vehicle ready and prepare to pull away when the road is clear. In case of automatic transmission vehicle, depress the brake pedal and shift the gear selector to D. Keep your right hand on the parking brake to release it quickly and left hand on the steering wheel. The second step of this routine is observe. This means looking around the vehicle to confirm that the way is clear for safe and smooth moving off. When moving from an intersection, the motorist must look at center and side mirrors to observe the traffic and turn on the indicator when necessary. To move off safely from the parking, motorists must check center mirror, right side mirror, and right side shoulder for surroundings. After this, motorists should check center mirror once again and turn on the left indicator if safe to do so. After checking center mirror and activating the left indicator, motorists should check the left side mirror and quick deep shoulder through the driver's side window. The third and final step of POM routine is move. After making sure it is safe to move, remove your hand from parking brake and keep it on the steering wheel. Use the accelerator pedal smoothly and gradually and enter to the traffic stream. After entering the road, observe the traffic through your mirrors and adjust the speed according to the road conditions, taking into consideration the speed limits. So that was the proper way to move off the vehicle safely and smoothly. Now we will learn how to move off and stop the vehicle safely on inclines. Motorists can use the same POM routine to move off from an incline. Moving off on an incline. Moving a vehicle from a stationary position on an incline without rolling it back is a difficult maneuver, as gravity affects acceleration and braking on an incline. In an automatic transmission vehicle, it can be easily managed, as the vehicle does not stall. However, for manual transmission vehicles, a good knowledge and control over clutch is essential to avoid vehicle rollback. Let's learn the right method to move off a manual transmission vehicle from an incline. To move off the vehicle safely from an incline, the motorists should use the POM routine. Prepare, observe, and move. Preparation. Depress the clutch pedal completely with left foot. Engage the first gear. Make sure your left hand is on the steering wheel and right hand resting on parking brake. Press the accelerator at about 1500 RPM with right foot. Release the clutch slowly up to friction or biting point. Friction point or the biting point is the point at which the clutch transmits enough energy to the flywheel to start to move the vehicle. This is when the back of the vehicle starts to lower down and the sound of the engine begins to change. Release the clutch a little further so that there is a forward push in the vehicle. The second step is observation. Check center mirror and both side mirrors. Look ahead and confirm the way is clear. Turn on the indicator if necessary. The final step is move. Release the parking brake and move the hand back to the steering wheel. The vehicle will start moving forward slowly. Gently apply the accelerator and at the same time release the clutch completely in a controlled manner. After moving off, check the mirrors again and adjust the speed according to the climb of the inclination. This is the proper way to move a vehicle safely on an incline. Now let us learn how to stop a vehicle safely on an incline. Stopping a vehicle on an incline. Stopping a vehicle on a hill requires good control and techniques. The steps to stop a vehicle safely on a hill or on an inclination are: keep smooth acceleration while approaching uphill. When intending to stop, ease off the accelerator by removing the right foot from the accelerator pedal. Place right foot on the foot brake. At the same time, when the vehicle is about to stop, depress the clutch completely with the left foot. When the vehicle stops completely, apply the parking brake. If the engine is to be kept running, select neutral gear. If the engine is to be turned off, turn the steering against the curb if facing an incline. Engage first gear and then turn off the engine. If facing downhill, turn the steering towards curb, engage reverse gear and turn off the engine. Gently release the clutch and then the brake pedal. Now we will learn how to stop the vehicle safely. In general, stopping or bringing a vehicle to complete halt smoothly requires these 5 major steps. Check mirrors for the traffic behind. Decelerate or release the accelerator. Brake gradually in 3 steps. Apply brake slightly just to illuminate the brake lights. Apply brake progressively to control and slow down the vehicle. At the last moment before the vehicle comes to a complete halt, reduce the pressure on the brake pedal to stop smoothly without jerk. Apply the parking brake. If the engine is to be kept running, select neutral gear. If the engine is to be turned off, select parking mode and then turn off the engine. Gently release the brake pedal. Remember, good anticipation and forward planning helps to stop the vehicle smoothly and avoid emergencies. However, motorists may have to stop quickly in case of emergencies. For example, an animal running into the road. Therefore, it is important to know the emergency stopping. Emergency stopping. In a real emergency, it is vital that the motorist reacts quickly. They will not have time to check the mirrors before braking. Therefore, it is always a good practice to scan the mirrors often while driving so that motorists are aware of what is happening behind. The emergency braking procedure is where the motorist has to brake firmly owing to an unexpected hazard. In case of an emergency, the motorist should do the following. Hold the steering wheel firmly while locking elbows into both sides of the body to stop being thrown forward by the momentum of the vehicle. Move the right foot quickly onto the foot brake and push it down firmly. Steer in a straight line. If the vehicle does not feature anti-lock or anti-skid brakes, it may skid. If the vehicle starts to skid, lift the foot off the foot brake and push it down again as quickly as possible to stop the vehicle without skidding. Once the vehicle has stopped completely, change gear to neutral and apply the parking brake. When it is safe, the motorist can proceed. Remember, if the vehicle has manual transmission, push the clutch in completely. It does not matter if the vehicle stalls. The important thing is to stop safely and quickly. approaching intersections and junctions. In this module, you will learn about different types of intersections and junctions, and the procedure to approach them safely. An intersection or a junction is an area where two or more roads meet or cross at one point. Since traffic from multiple roads is converging at one point, motorists need to be very careful while approaching and passing through intersections. There are two types of intersections: controlled intersections, uncontrolled intersections. Let's learn about controlled intersections. Controlled intersection is an intersection which is controlled by traffic signs or traffic lights. It is mandatory to obey these signs or lights in order to drive safely through the intersection. We will now learn some of the common forms of controlled intersections. T-intersection, traffic light intersection. Let's start with T-intersection. T-intersection is where two roads meet and one of them ends. T-intersections may not always form a regular T. T-intersection has two parts: continuing road, terminating road. A typical T-intersection will have center lane markings, directional arrows, traffic island, T-intersection chevrons, traffic signs, road markings. We will now learn about continuing and terminating roads. Continuing road. It is the road which keeps going straight even while another road joins it on the way, just like the top line of the capital alphabet T, which is joined by a line from below. Terminating road. It is the road that ends at the intersection and is controlled by stop or give way sign. If the motorist faces a stop sign, he must stop and wait until the way is clear before driving through the intersection. If the motorist faces a give way sign, he must slow down or stop if necessary and wait until the way is clear before driving through the intersection. The second form of controlled intersection is traffic light intersection. A traffic light intersection is where two or more roads cross. They are controlled by traffic lights. A typical traffic light intersection has yellow box, traffic signal, lights, pedestrian signals, center median, traffic island, painted island, slip lane, pedestrian crossing merging arrows, center lines, traffic signs, road markings. The second type of intersection is uncontrolled intersection. In an uncontrolled intersection, there will be no traffic lights or traffic signs. In UAE, these kinds of intersections are very rare. While approaching uncontrolled intersections, motorists must give right-of-way to the vehicle approaching the intersection ahead of them. If both vehicles arrive at the same time, the vehicle approaching from the left has the right-of-way. Motorists must be extra careful around uncontrolled intersections. It's also quite important for us to understand the right-of-way. The general principle that affirms who has the right to proceed first is called right-of-way. Once you are familiar with various types of intersections, you should learn the safe procedure to be followed while approaching intersections or junctions. Safe approach to intersections or junctions requires a procedure. Motorists may use the MS-PSL routine while approaching the intersections or junctions. The MS-PSL routine means M for mirrors, S for signals, P for position, S for speed, L for look around. Let's learn in detail what motorists should do at each step of the MS-PSL routine, with the help of an example of approaching a traffic light intersection for straight direction. Before approaching, motorists must plan well in advance by locating an intersection. To approach safely, the first step is mirror. While approaching the intersection, check the mirrors for safety. Motorists may check the center mirror first to observe the traffic behind them, and then check the side mirrors to observe the traffic on both sides. When checking mirrors, make sure: what is the situation? What type of vehicles is there? What is the speed of the vehicle? The second step is signals. Following mirrors, if safe to do so and required, turn on the signal for the intending direction of turn. This will help the others to know your intention. Use the signal at the appropriate time. Signaling too early may mislead other road users, while signaling too late can create a hazardous situation. The third step is position. position the vehicle in the center of the lane and maintain it. However, when approaching for the turnings, first position the vehicle in the center of the lane and before stopping, position the vehicle according to the direction of the turn. The fourth step is speed. Along with the position, reduce the speed gradually by applying the foot brake. This will help to control the vehicle for safe approaching. Fifth and final step of MSPSL routine is look. Finally, look around for traffic lights, signs, markings, vehicles, or other hazards. Motorists may check the mirrors again to see the traffic movement behind and on either side before stopping the vehicle. Once the traffic light is green and the junction clear, motorists may proceed safely. MSPSL routine can be used to approach intersections, turnings, including U-turns, roundabouts, and parking safely. In fact, this routine has to be applied whenever the direction or the speed of the vehicle needs to be changed. Roundabouts. In this module, you'll learn about the correct way to approach and drive across a roundabout safely. A roundabout is a circular intersection where drivers travel anti-clockwise around a center island. All the roads converging into a roundabout sign at the entrance, traffic lane arrows, traffic light or sign with marking. Roundabouts are very common in Dubai. They are in different shapes and sizes with different numbers of lanes and exits. Roundabouts can be complex due to multiple hazards. As with other turning maneuvers, good planning is always important while approaching a roundabout. Motorists must decide well in advance whether they're going to take a right turn, left turn, U-turn, or go straight before approaching the roundabout. They can select the correct lane by observing the traffic lane arrows. After entering the correct lane, motorists may use the MS-PSL routine for approaching the roundabout. They can check mirrors for the traffic behind, turn on the signal according to the direction except if going straight, position the vehicle in the middle of the lane, reduce the speed according to the situation. Finally, look around for potential hazards such as pedestrians or cyclists. If the roundabout is controlled by the traffic light, obey the traffic light. But if the amber or yellow light is blinking or give way sign is posted, then motorists must give way to all vehicles already in the roundabout coming from the left. Only enter the roundabout when it is safe to do so. Remember, in roundabouts, good steering control, correct speed, signals and mirrors are very important to drive safely. Motorists must stay in their lanes unless it is necessary and permitted to change the lane. Do not stop in the roundabout unnecessarily and avoid driving next to oversized vehicles. It is very important to maintain the lane discipline in the roundabouts. Many drivers lose their control while turning and get involved in accidents. Though roundabouts generally have around 3 to 5 roads coming into it, in some cases there can be more roads approaching the roundabout. These roads are determined based on the number of exits in the roundabouts. Similarly, the number of lanes in a roundabout can vary from 1 to 4 or more. In this region, the common types of roundabouts are 2 lanes roundabout, 3 lanes roundabout, 2-lane roundabouts. Let's see, with the help of 4-directional roundabout, how to use 2-lane roundabout for turning. To turn right safely through the roundabout, motorists must approach in the right lane using the MS-PSL routine and stay in the same lane. Keep the right signal on until the turn is completed. Make sure to give way to all the vehicles in roundabout coming from the left, and if there are pedestrians on the way, allow them to cross safely. Enter the extreme right lane once the roundabout is clear. Exit through the right lane. Cancel signal after leaving the roundabout. Check mirrors and increase speed gradually to match with the traffic stream on the road. Going straight ahead in a 2-lane roundabout. To go straight from the roundabout, motorists must approach in the right lane using the MS-PSL routine and stay in the same lane. Do not use the signal while approaching the roundabout. Make sure to give way to all the vehicles in roundabout coming from the left, and if there are pedestrians on the way, allow them to cross safely. Enter the extreme right lane once the roundabout is clear. Turn on right signal after passing the first exit to let other motorists know that you're leaving the roundabout at the next exit. Exit through the right-hand lane. Cancel signal after leaving the roundabout. Check mirrors and increase speed gradually to match with traffic stream on the road. Turning left. To turn left safely through the roundabout, the motorists must approach in left lane using the MS-PSL routine and stay in that lane. Keep the left signal on. Make sure to give way to all the vehicles in roundabout coming from the left, and if there are any pedestrians on the way, allow them to cross safely. Enter the extreme left lane once the roundabout is clear. Cancel the left signal and turn on the right signal after passing the second exit to let others know that you are leaving the roundabout at the next exit. Look over the shoulder to the right to check for vehicles in the blind spot when preparing to exit the roundabout. Exit through the left-hand lane. Cancel signal after leaving the roundabout. Check mirrors and increase speed gradually to match with the traffic stream on the road. Remember, after exiting the roundabout, move back to the rightmost lane when it is safe to do so by following the MSSSM routine. Taking a U-turn in a 2-lane roundabout. To make a U-turn from the roundabout, motorists must approach in the leftmost lane using the MSPSL routine and stay in that lane. Keep the left signal on. Make sure to give way to all the vehicles in roundabout coming from the left, and if there are pedestrians on the way, allow them to cross safely. Enter the extreme left lane once the roundabout is clear. Cancel the left signal and turn on the right signal after passing the third exit to let others know that you are leaving the roundabout at the next exit. Do a right head check for the vehicles in the blind spot when preparing to exit the roundabout. Exit through the left-hand lane. Turn off signal after leaving the roundabout. Check mirrors and increase speed gradually to match with the traffic stream on the road. Remember, after exiting the roundabout, move back to the rightmost lane when it is safe to do so by following the MSSSM routine. Let's see, with the help of 4-directional roundabout, how to use a 3-lane roundabout for turning. 3-lane roundabouts. Turning right. To turn right safely through the roundabout, motorists must approach in the right lane using the MSPSL routine and stay in the same lane. Keep the right signal on until the turn is completed. Make sure to give way to all the vehicles in roundabout coming from the left, and if there are pedestrians on the way, allow them to cross safely. Enter the extreme right lane once the roundabout is clear. Exit through the right lane. Turn off signal after leaving the roundabout. Check mirrors and increase speed gradually to match with the traffic stream on the road. Remember, if there is a slip lane before the roundabout, motorists must use it to turn right. Going straight ahead. To go straight from the roundabout, motorists must choose the appropriate lane, right or center, depending on what the motorist needs to do after proceeding through the roundabout. Use the right-hand lane if there is a slip lane before the roundabout, intending to turn right soon after the roundabout, looking for parking soon after passing the roundabout. Use the center lane if there is no slip lane before the roundabout, intending to continue straight after the roundabout. Approach in the selected lane using the MSPSL routine. Do not use the signal while approaching the roundabout. Make sure to give way to all the vehicles in roundabout coming from the left, and if there are pedestrians on the way, allow them to cross safely. Enter in the corresponding lane in the roundabout once the roundabout is clear. Turn on right signal after passing the first exit to let others know that you are leaving the roundabout at the next exit. Do a right head check for vehicles in the blind spot when preparing to exit the roundabout, that is, in case of using the middle lane to go straight from the roundabout. Exit through the corresponding lane. Turn off the signal after leaving the roundabout. Check mirrors and increase speed gradually to match with the traffic stream on the road. Turning left. To turn left safely through the roundabout, motorists must approach through the leftmost lane using the MSPSL routine and stay in that lane. Keep the left signal on. Make sure to give way to all the vehicles in roundabout coming from the left, and if there are pedestrians on the way, allow them to cross safely. Enter the extreme left lane in the roundabout once the roundabout is clear. Turn off the left signal and turn on the right signal after passing the second exit to let others know that you are leaving the roundabout at the next exit. Do a right head check for the vehicles in the blind spot when preparing to exit the roundabout. Exit through the leftmost lane. Turn off signal after leaving the roundabout. Check mirrors and increase speed gradually to match with the traffic stream on the road. Remember, after exiting the roundabout, move back to the rightmost lane when it is safe to do so by following the MSSSM routine. 3-lane roundabout. Taking a U-turn in a 3-lane roundabout. To make a U-turn from the roundabout, motorists must approach the leftmost lane using the MS-PSL routine and stay in that lane. Keep the left signal on. Make sure to give way to all the vehicles in the roundabout coming from the left, and if there are pedestrians on the way, allow them to cross safely. Enter through the extreme left lane in the roundabout once the roundabout is clear. Turn off the left signal and turn on the right signal after passing the third exit to let others know that you are leaving the roundabout at the next exit. Do a right head check for the vehicles in the blind spot when preparing to exit the roundabout. Exit through the left-hand lane. Turn off the signal after leaving the roundabout. Check mirrors and increase speed gradually to match with the traffic stream on the road. Remember, after exiting the roundabout, move back to the rightmost lane when it is safe to do so by following the MSSSM routine. Important note: some roundabouts have different infrastructures where they may link to isolated roads. Therefore, the lane selection might vary for different exits. In such roundabouts, motorists must consider the directional signs and road marking arrows to drive through the roundabout safely. Heavy and articulated vehicles. In this module, you'll learn about the characteristics of heavy vehicles. Road is a common sharing place for all the road users. It is always good to understand the characteristics of other motor vehicles. It will help to create the road a safer place for everyone. Motorists must be more careful when driving near the heavy vehicles, such as trucks and buses. The blind spots around heavy vehicles are larger due to their bigger size. This also limits their driver's visibility. Their blind spots are directly behind the truck, beside the truck left door, beside the right side, immediately in front of the truck. Motorists must avoid driving in these areas by positioning their vehicles well in front or behind the heavy vehicles. In order to keep safety a priority, if driving ahead of a heavy vehicle, make sure heavy vehicles are fully visible in the center mirror. If driving behind or beside a heavy vehicle, make sure that the driver is visible in its side mirror. This will ensure that you are noticeable by the driver of the heavy vehicle. This is very important when the driver of the heavy vehicle has to deal with an emergency. Heavy vehicles accelerate more slowly than other vehicles and take longer to stop, so avoid cutting in front of the heavy vehicles as they will not get enough room or time to stop safely. Heavy vehicles have limited turning capability than a light vehicle. They occupy more than one lane while turning. Therefore, motorists must keep a good space from them near turnings and bends. Heavy vehicles can also cause a turbulence while you're passing by it, especially in a light vehicle. You may experience turbulence from a heavy vehicle passing against you, or from a heavy vehicle that you are overtaking. This can push you away from it or pull you towards it, so be prepared for a little rock and roll. So always keep a considerable distance from the heavy vehicle, especially when both of you are fast, and keep a firm grip on the steering wheel while passing beside one. Always drive carefully and plan well in advance to manage risks.